Just want to let everyone know this was recorded as our 10th episode, and we talk about it being our 10th episode, but we're actually releasing it a little bit early due to a lost episode being where this episode should be. So enjoy us talking about our 10th episode a little bit early, and be on the lookout for more from the Trackcast. Enjoy The Village.
If you thought the aliens from Signs were scary, wait until you see M. Night Shyamalan's next big cinematic threat, Pennsylvanian settlers. It's The Village. When death and illness begin to plague a 19th century community, young Lucius begins to question and rebel against the village's strict rules of never leaving their wall. However, the vicious creatures that live in the surrounding forest begin to threaten the villagers. Lucius and his love interest Ivy fall down a rabbit hole of the community's mysteries. It's like Attack on Titan with less giant killing and more pigmen. This is the Trackcast.
That's awesome.
Spoilers for Attack on Titan retroactively.
Well, we know there's giants with balls.
You know what's funny? I thought the same thing. When watching it. I was like, this is just Attack on Titan.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Trackcast, otherwise known as today's review of assorted cinema. Did you guys like how I flipped it around this time? Usually I say the long one. So, like, it's Trackcast for short, today's review of assorted cinema for long. Do you guys get it?
You took the long way.
Wait.
Right.
Oh, that's why we named it that. Oh. It's kind of a triple play on things.
Thank you for listening to another episode of today's review of assorted cinema. I am one of your hosts, Trevor.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Aref.
And I'm Christian.
Whoa. Can you believe that these past 5 minutes have been entirely scripted?
Dude, we are
all of this.
good at writing. This part isn't scripted.
No, this isn't scripted.
This part isn't scripted. But I do want to say, Aref, your line, changes on page 2 to introduce, have that joke about the reference. I think that's just beautiful.
Oh yeah. I'm glad Christian wrote that one. Christian wrote
that.
I can't. I was gonna take credit.
You just write natural dialogue. So
all he does is write. He's a poster.
I guess we watched The Village. That was the movie. Ryan introduced it to us, and he's going to break it down for us in just a minute as to how or why he brought it to us. And all his reasonings for that. He'll take it away soon. I do want to say, fellas, before we get into it, a little bit of a milestone. This is episode 10.
Oh my!
Whoa!
God.
I know we hit double digits, which is pretty exciting. I do want to reiterate, thank you to the people out there listening, whoever you are.
Thank you.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it. If you're here for a 10th episode, or if you're just tuning in on the 10th episode and it just so happens to be your first, your second, could be your fourth, I don't know. Any first time or other time watching. Any combination of numbers. But this is special for us because right now it's our 10th. Which is cool. We hit double digits, which we got the ball rolling. We have a review system that we've put up here within the podcast. Just a little thing that makes a little leaderboard of movies from what we watched. We each give a rating, and then we, from the end of the episode, and then we, put it all up in there. Yeah, we want to talk just a little bit about, that, and just a little look back on what we've done so far. Aref, take us away. Who's got it open?
I don't have it open.
Who has it open?
I have it. Yeah, Ryan and I have.
Ryan, take it away real quick. Let's look back in terms of our just top 3 movies that we've rated. Let's do top 3 or because the Olympics just happened.
Well, perfect.
That's true.
Yeah, gold, silver, bronze.
Yeah, gold, silver, and bronze.
So with the bronze medal in third place is Creep, and that was a fun movie.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Creep was a great one.
Silver is our last viewing. Another round. That was a banger. Gold is Tokyo Godfathers.
Yeah.
That there's no wrong answers in that one.
No.
I think Pink Flamingos was on there, and then something like something dethroned it. It was like
Oh,
early.
that's
yeah.
so funny.
Probably Streets of Fire or something.
But yeah, we like keeping a little tally of our rating.
Seems like a
How they
ranking.
And it's objective. So if you disagree with us, you're wrong.
Yes.
True.
This is subjective.
Literally true.
No, it's objective. It's not subjective.
Oh yeah, we are using math.
We more did this as like a reason for us to just kind of like have something to do and like watch movies and have a little book club about it. And I just want to, say that I appreciate you guys taking this journey with me so far and having this be our 10th episode. It's been really fun, and I really like it, and I hope we continue doing it. And yeah, I just the Trackcast is awesome.
From one quarter of the buck to another, as you like to so lovingly.
I do really.
I've noticed that you've done that a few times. I'm like
twice or 3 times now. Yeah, it's terrible,
like it.
but I gotta like sit down and record what things of 4, like
like quotations.
Digital pat on the shoulder. Digital pat on the shoulder, right there, buddy. For
patty mode.
Help and take us all the way here.
And I mean, I couldn't do it without my wonderful co-hosts. So we're all producers too. Like 4 equal producers, which is pretty cool.
Producer credit.
Because no one's helping us.
resume.
It's just us.
Do you think we'll get a Webby?
We could.
The fuck is a Webby?
It's like a web series, like award show, I think.
What's the EGOT, but for like the web? Right? Okay, so there's the Webby, the Streamy.
Oh, there's the Streamies. That's right.
The AVN Award? I don't know.
What the
ABG award.
Damn, I was gonna say like the Game Awards, but you went to a whole. Other
Yeah,
thing.
I don't know. That's
fuck?
terrible.
AVN's
Cut that
porno,
out.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
cut that out.
Sorry, I don't watch that.
Never heard of it. Don't know what that is.
Yeah, we have to Matt Pat. We have to be like, I've never seen porn. What the hell is that? I don't know what that is.
So that clip is
You're
so
like, Matt
crazy.
Pat, what the fuck's happening?
Okay,
doing?
Matt Pat. Okay. Did you guys hear about the tribe that like got internet and then like all became addicted to porn?
Oh my god. Okay, no, that was like weird media sensationalism.
Was it?
Yeah, a lot
There
of it
was
was
a New York
weird
Times
media
there article.
sensationalism. Yeah, no, but a lot of people didn't read into the actual article. There's not like an epidemic of pornography.
No. It's just like people complaining about it. Yeah, it's not like it's like actually
It's
like an issue.
destroyed them.
But they actually quote a dude saying like, it's a shame that our people are falling to like the praise of the white man or something like that. Crazy. Speaking of secluded areas,
Oh,
Ryan, can you take us into this week's movie?
Give the lowdown.
Yeah, give us the lowdown on The Village.
So the Village is an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It was after Signs, or did he do a movie between Signs?
it was right after Signs. Yeah.
Right after Signs, and I
That's
think Signs is a heater. It's a bit decisive. Some people just don't like it.
Probably
And
the biggest movie of the time, right? For sure.
I like that had aliens in it, and it didn't like show you the aliens too much, so I just thought that was kind of scary.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's fun.
which he worked with Joaquin on for the first time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he loved him so much, he brought him back for The Village. But this movie's fun. I always liked it as a kid. I saw it probably when it came to DVD, so probably 2005.
Okay.
I can't imagine it coming out any earlier back then.
I'd be way too scared to watch this in 2005.
Oh, I think my parents just put it on, and we were already there, so there was no going back.
It was definitely marketed. I think that's also why this movie is also so divisive. Is that it was famously marketed more as like a horror movie
I think
like
it
a thriller
was.
horror movie.
Yeah, I remember it being marketed as like scared.
when it really isn't at all.
And people are like, what the hell's happening? And it's like the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Why did you bring the movie to the club? Why did you? What brought you to the Council of Track? The Village.
With my pick. It's a fun movie, and it's decisive. Some people don't come out with like, oh, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the double twist that there is. Like some people shit on it, and they're like, oh, it's stupid, it's dumb. Hey, I think it gets more shit than it needs to. I think the score on IMDb, yeah, it's a 6. I don't think it like needs to be an 8 or anything. Like I don't think it's like a fantastic movie, but I definitely think it's like a fun. It's shot well. It's fun.
What do you guys think?
Adif, why don't you go first, Adif? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Popcorn reading, yeah.
I didn't like it almost at all.
Oh,
Perfect.
really?
Yeah, I was not into this movie.
I have family members who hate this fucking movie.
Here's my issue with it. It felt like a history movie channel where they tried to emulate M. Night Shyamalan. You know, it didn't feel like M. Night Shyamalan.
Interesting.
And that's my take.
Christian. Bless you.
Sorry.
Oh my God, bless you. Oh my word. He must have seen The Bad Color. This is why I was actually very excited to talk about this movie because, like Ryan said, I think this movie is quite divisive. At the opposite end, I fucking love this movie so much. This is maybe I go back and forth between this and Unbreakable being my favorite Shyamalan movies.
Unbreakable's really good.
I love Unbreakable, but this one is so good. Like this movie it's so stacked with like all the like such a good cast. I mean, it's shot Roger Deakins, the cinematographer, who's like amazing. This movie looks
Shot super well.
beautiful.
Yeah.
The score and the music is so good.
Yeah.
They work well together.
And like I just like how I like that it's more like a romance kind of drama than it is like a horror movie.
It's a little sneaky funny too.
It is it's a little funny at times too. And I don't know. There's a lot of things about this movie that work for me. It's not perfect for sure, but
Sure.
For me, it just scratches the itch in terms of his filmography.
I think that this is like the reception around this movie and like the thoughts around it were always kind of like of the time, you know? Because like, I don't know if it was just because he came right off of Signs, like we said, or if it was like just like the marketing, or if like, you know, I'm not sure, but like what's here's a pretty good movie. However, I do think for like, when did this movie come out? 2004.
Four.
I think for 2004 movie fans, maybe they like had to suspend so much more belief, if that makes sense, than they were prepared to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
because like you kind of touched on that too, like just the movies that came before it, like Signs was
right.
I think a pretty big hit, and he was on a hot streak. He was on Sixth Sense, into Unbreakable,
oh my gosh,
Signs, into The Village. So like I think this movie being so different from what I think people expected, I think the reception was a lot more negative and lukewarm.
I haven't seen Unbreakable.
Oh, it's really good.
I also haven't seen Unbreakable.
I know there's like now a trilogy, and that was like another twist in itself.
Yeah.
With the other Glass or whatever, or the
other
Glass,
one. And then
Unbreakable, Split, and then Glass. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I Split and Splice.
The fucked up Avengers.
No, I mean like, yeah, I like this movie, and like you said, Christian, like I kept going, like, oh my god, that person's in this movie, like,
yeah,
like, oh my god, like Adrian Brody, like Joaquin Phoenix,
Jesse Eisenberg's in here,
Domhnall Gleeson, yeah, Jesse Eisenberg's agent, like, how do you get the last billing in the intro credits, and then like you're only in the movie for like maybe 10 seconds.
I think they gave it to him because he stood on that stump.
or maybe like it was just like cut scenes too. Could be that.
yeah. There's like 40 minutes of like cutting room floor footage that they just didn't want to use.
Yeah, who knows?
Who's got this character out?
I forgot Jesse Eisenberg was in this fucking movie.
He's literally in it for 2 scenes.
I know.
Like
he's at the banquet. I know that he's just there.
And then he has one line after that.
Yeah, when they're daring him to stand on the stump.
Don't touch my shirt, you'll wrinkle it.
Without further ado, though, Christian, our tome master, our gracious tome master, could you take us into The Village a little bit? And obvious for anyone listening out there, spoilers for The Village.
Yeah, full spoilers. Also, this movie is like it's 2 decades old. Like, if you don't know,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, well, Ad, if you didn't know you didn't know about this movie going into it.
No, but I
Yeah.
figured out the twist 10 minutes in.
Okay, because I'm curious at what point like
I want to talk about that.
you off. Yeah. But yeah, no, we're gonna spoil the whole thing. Obviously, if you're interested, go watch it. If you want to, whatever, hear our thoughts.
I mean, I feel like we just bake in a spoiler warning because, like,
Yeah.
I feel like every film should be watched. You know, like
Yeah.
if you're interested in a movie, like, don't read a synopsis. Like, you're actually interested enough and you're like willing to watch it, then just watch it. And also, maybe you don't need to watch The Village, and you can just listen to our episode, and maybe that's just good enough because we're cool.
We need that
Yeah.
Webby.
I think we need the Webby. I think we need the Webby. I have a starving child at home. His food was $65. It was a lot of money, and it was just too much. Yeah. So please.
You still building that computer, Trevor?
Remember, I'm going to come into money soon.
What the Webby comes in.
Yeah.
I could build my PS3 supercomputer.
Christian, take us away.
So the village starts kind of in and is set in the titular village. It doesn't really have a name, but it's just a small little tiny little hamlet in 19th century Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And the only indication, I mean, obviously it looks.
Aref rolls eyes.
You can hear them rolling.
It looks the part because the way they're dressed and everything. But also we open on funeral for one of the people's young children, and we can see on the tombstone it says like 1890 something, I think. So that kind of gives
It's
us
like
the
the
indication.
80s, like 1880.
Yeah, 80s or something.
He was only about like 7 or 8 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this opening is so like chilling to me. Like in the sense of it's just like, oh, it's like opening on child coffin. Like
Yeah.
That's a small coffin.
Definitely sudden.
We kind of get the indication that through both people talking and then also just seeing people kind of go about their day, we see that there's watchtowers all around and there's like a perimeter. It's surrounded by this big dark forest. And we learn and understand that the color red is prohibited.
An omen.
It's an omen. It's an ill
Very
omen.
like it's one of the biggest. It's the biggest thing in the movie at the very first start. It's like red bad.
Red is bad, and we don't really know why yet. But I mean, spoiler alert! It basically attracts these creatures.
Those we do not speak of.
Those we do not speak of.
They Voldemort the monsters in this movie.
Exactly. And we learn, and then we follow this the school teacher, Walker. I forget his first name. Edward Walker, played by William Hurt, who is fantastic in this movie. I think.
He is really good in this movie.
Yeah,
the whole cast is
Acting's
great.
pretty good.
The whole cast is really good. Everyone sells it, and like let's just break it down. Christian, just do the cast breakdown. Like just like
oh yeah,
and, like every 10 seconds, it's like you're like banger after banger. Go.
William Hurt,
Boom.
Bryce Dallas Howard,
Boom.
Joaquin Phoenix,
Boom.
Adrian Brody,
Boom.
Sigourney Weaver,
For no fucking reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually, she was the one person I actually forgot was in this movie. I was like, oh shit. Brendan Gleeson,
Boom.
Judy Greer,
Boom.
Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Zuckerberg
Boom.
himself.
The cast is stacked. The cast is stacked.
It's
And everyone brings their A game. You're like I don't know, like the village seems lived in for sure.
They all know it. They all know exactly how to deliver his very strange dialogue.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because like everyone like speaks in ominous tones in this movie. It's just like
very
like very this thing or that maybe.
Mhm.
Don't do that because this could happen, but that obviously isn't real. So
Yeah,
It's like it's supposed to be 100 years ago, essentially.
Right. It's the
M. Night
19th.
Shyamalan's also in this movie. If you didn't know.
M. Night Shyamalan is in this movie playing a little cameo, which is always fun.
Man in Reflection, yeah.
I really did like the way they did that.
One of my favorite cameos of his, simply because it's so like, do you get it? It's him. Like,
Yeah.
like pointed out that it's him.
Like, okay.
So Edward Walker, he's one of the many kind of village elders of this town.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the teacher, and he's kind of teaching a lesson to the kids about, the history of the place, and he's like, what do you know? What do we know about the people, those that we don't speak of? And there's supposedly these creatures that live in the woods, and they'll kill you if you go out in the perimeter, but as long as you're in the perimeter of the village, they don't bother us or whatever.
Definitely weird vibes.
That is then challenged when, because of the young child's death from illness, Lucius Hunt, badass
Played by
name,
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
Played by-
Joaquin Phoenix.
by Joaquin Phoenix. This is some of where I think the humor comes from, kind of like what Ryan was indicating. He's such like a nervous kind of like, not nervous, but like he's just like a very quiet, kind of awkward guy.
He's very off-putting.
He doesn't like talking.
Well,
and he makes that clear, and people talk about it.
Well, what's interesting though is that like I also kind of got the notion, and maybe I totally read it wrong, that like he's also done this before. Like he's straight, like this isn't his first time requesting to like do this.
I could see that, yeah.
And because he's speaking so fast as if he's like written it before too. But like also it's like a little bit of like just meekness too. I'm not sure.
I think
He's very timid, very shy.
Yeah, definitely.
He's very shy, very kind of quiet, introspective guy. And I think the way he kind of acts in front of the elders, because like he like writes out what he wants to say. He doesn't just say it.
Yeah.
Like he rehearsed it, and he's like,
yeah, it's on
basically he's asking to travel through the woods to visit the other towns, quote unquote, in order to find like medicines that
medicine.
That would definitely probably heal this boy, and like
or help prevent other illnesses.
Yeah. Which like okay, and like so you're set up with like the village is very strict. You have to go through the elders if you want to leave the village, but they never let anyone leave the village.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the whole thing. Is like they're like you can request it, but you're never going to be able to leave. Like we'll never grant permission. And my initial thing from the very get-go was like, okay, but if everybody knows that you can go into town and get medicines that would prevent illness or like, save people's lives, then like why not let somebody do it? Like, come on.
Well, I think the idea is that's like no one does that. I think because they kind of just talk about there's towns
right.
But, like,
Lucius is
no
the
one
only
actually
person.
No one actually goes.
There are some elders who disclose, like Sigourney Weaver is the mother of Lucius.
Yes,
and she says that his father left Tuesday morning and was found dead. He went to the towns and was found dead.
Right.
And then just like, don't go. It's dangerous out there. You don't know. Like, it could have been the things, or it could have been animals, or it could have been people.
But at the same time, Lucius knows that there's medicines out there that like could definitely heal people. So I don't know. It just seems like a win.
Yeah, and then Lucius and his mom kind of have a conversation, and she questions like, why do you want to go out there? And he's just like, like he obviously has kind of intentions, or he wants to kind of fight against the system, and
what a rebel.
You can't keep me in this one track town.
It's one track ass town.
There's like 3 jobs. There's like watchtower, and then like sit in shack.
That's true.
A t-shirt.
Watch the
and teacher.
room.
Yeah,
that's so true because like they don't like.
Oh my god!
You don't see a lot of people working like, and whatever work they do, it's just like in a house. But like they're also not really houseworking either. Like they are and they're not.
Like living off the land, like just
living off the land,
kind of living.
It's what capitalist America would hate nowadays. Oh my god!
Literally.
Yeah, a bunch of freeloaders.
And then there's some like weird stuff going on. There's like skinned animals that are showing up around the village. That
livestock.
It's an omen. the creatures are encroaching. They're mad at us.
Yeah, somebody went in the woods. Someone pissed them off.
And then also we see in that conversation that Lucius has with Sigourney Weaver, his mom. He's like, she says something like, she indicates towards something, and we see this like box that she has.
Yeah, that's right.
There's
Her
like a
box of secrets.
A box of secrets.
She literally has a box of secrets.
Everybody does. All the elders do. Lucius points this out.
Yeah, he like asks to like open it up like to her too, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he hits
like,
him
no.
with what's in the box.
I want to know what's in the box.
She's like, no.
Yeah.
No, okay.
It's just a gun.
it's just a
It's
firearm.
a laser pistol.
I want you to know that's when I figured it out.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask.
Should we save the twist now and talk about it, or should we wait a bit?
Let's wait a little bit. I want everybody to know though. This is when I figured it out.
Okay.
And you know what?
This is
That is fair, because looking back on it, that is kind of a negative, like, aspect of the story to me. Is like, why would you just have these these are
Why
secret
is the
boxes.
box
You
not
cannot
like under a
open them.
bed or a floorboard
Yeah,
or
yeah, I
something?
don't know.
Yeah.
Why
What
do they
it
keep?
is-
Why do they keep one of the biggest secrets in the quiet room? You know what I mean? Underneath the floor. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean he's got a good point there.
It is true. It is a little.
But I think it's more about the, again, maybe we should wait until we get into it, but like I think it's more about the meta narrative, you know?
Sure, yeah.
But I don't know if that's like, oh, I'm an M. Night apologist. I don't know. Am I grasping at straws that aren't there? That's what the podcast is for, because I genuinely want to know this podcast, guys. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. This podcast episode is going to determine my score of the movie. That's how I don't know about this movie. I am like I liked it, but you know, Aref brings up really good points that I've been thinking about, and I'm just like, I don't know. So we'll get into it. But I you definitely don't want to miss this one, folks. I'm just saying that.
You're not gonna want to miss this one.
Yeah.
But all that stuff is kind of just backdrop, kind of world building stuff that we need to know for the plot of the movie to happen. But this is kind of where we start to get into kind of the main core, kind of emotional main draw of the film.
The through line, I would say.
Through line. That's a good way.
The through line is the best way to put it. It's like, this is the person who's going to take you through
the romance.
Yeah.
And
that's Adrian Brody. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, go for it.
So I love the build up to this, to how we meet Bryce Dallas Howard's character.
Yeah.
Because we get a moment where so Bryce Dallas Howard is the daughter of the teacher Walker, the elder Walker. Eddie. Good old Eddie.
Yeah.
And she has a sister named Kitty. And Kitty comes up to the teacher Walker, and he's like, she goes, "Oh, Father, I'm in love. I haven't spoken to him yet, but I want your permission for us to be wed." And he's like, "What?"
He's like, "Where's the guy?" I was like, "Why are you talking to me about this?" Where's the dude?
He's like, "Usually the boy is here."
Keep this in mind. And I'm gonna keep shitting on this movie as we go through.
That's fine.
This is a period piece, right? This is supposed to be 18th or 19th century.
Well,
Pennsylvania?
Piece.
It's supposed to be a period piece, right? M. Night Shyamalan. Fun fact: a trivia blurb that I was reading said this is M. Night Shyamalan's first period piece. That's the stupidest piece of trivia I've ever fucking heard in my life.
That's so funny.
That's funny.
So
that is really funny.
Anyways, imagine 19th century. Imagine 19th century. Your daughter comes up to you, right? It comes up to the town head. Hey, I want to marry this random fucking boy, right? That's not gonna happen. They're not gonna be cool with that. What the fuck? That's
No,
super strange.
No, but that's the thing. Is it because it is? I mean, we have to just say it now. The
I think
twist,
we have to say. I think you're right. Like, I think we have to say. I think that's a big like tell
because,
at the early part of the movie.
because I understand you, Aref, and but like to me, that is the little shit that like if you like look for it, I think that makes it so much more fun. Because okay, spoiler
Yeah.
alert: the fucking twist of this movie is that it's set in 2004. It's not. It's modern.
It's not. It's not a period piece. It's not 19th century.
I'm arguing against the marketing of this movie being like a huge twist because I think it's spelt out for you like right away.
I think the marketing of this movie geared it much more towards it being
like some kind of fantasy horror. Yeah, a fantasy horror.
And that's one part of it. The other part is like I think I knew the twist going in because maybe I was spoiled on it when I was like a kid or something. I don't know. But like at the same time, knowing what the twist is going into it, that it's like modern day, and this is my argument for why the movie I think is good. It doesn't change a lot when I think about it. Like when I really think about it, I don't think that the movie really makes a difference. It's like, oh, it's the modern day. And it's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to make connections. Like, oh, like in some societies, this is how it is nowadays, even when it's the modern day. Or if I'm just supposed to take it as this is a group of people who obviously don't like the progression of how, society is going, so they want to do their own thing. Like, I'm not sure what the exact thing is, but like, what I'm trying to my thesis here is that like even though the twist is the twist, it really doesn't change anything that happens in the movie or like that matters. That like is the feedback you get from it, which I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I think it's fun because the elders all basically disclose at some point a tragic loss, whether it's somebody's father, sister, partner. They all experienced just like tragedy and like loss of someone they love.
Yeah, all the elders have had shared someone who had
shared trauma basically,
shared trauma.
And they all just to collect their money and they move into like a nature reserve.
Yeah,
and just to escape. And
it's revealed that Walker is the inheritor of like billions of dollars. He's like, isn't he the son of the guy who made the money?
He's the son of the billionaire guy.
He's the son of the billionaire, and then they opened a wildlife preserve, which I'm not sure whether it's like they opened the wildlife preserve to go do it. That's the idea I think it's supposed to be telling me. But there's also like the idea that the wildlife preserve already existed, and they carved out an area in there.
Well, the way I saw it was that it was like that he bought this plot of land or whatever, and then set it up, and then on the inside it's the village, but to the outside,
what I thought.
But to the outside, it's a wildlife preserve because the outside, like the people guarding it, don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, it could be just like low level management. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much.
This not allowing planes to fly over.
I'm also jumping. Yeah, they don't allow planes to fly over, which is a huge one. I'm also jumping a little head here. This might be digging too deep into it. I think
we'll get back on track to the.
I think M. Night Shyamalan, his cameos. He's a person who is like overseeing the community. He's obviously the community. He's overseeing the reserve. That's his cameo. It's his reflection, but he is a seasoned employee there. I think that was intentional. He's like almost the director of the community.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like his own experiment, whether it's like a literal experiment or a thought experiment, which could be the movie.
Right.
Especially because he straight up like explains the twist to you.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he even tells the guy who like goes and gets the medicine for, oh my God, what's Bryce Dallas Howard's name? Ivy. Like Ivy at the end of the movie gets a security guard on the outside because she's a boss and she, is the through line of the movie, as we just explained. She at the end of the movie gets a guard to like get medicine for her, and that's the M. Night cameo. And yeah, like doesn't he also tell like M. Night tells the guy like don't question stuff, like make sure you're whatever, like doesn't he say something too? Yeah. So
it's an easy gig. Don't fuck this up.
It's so interesting. This movie's really interesting. I don't know if it's like 2004 minds weren't ready for it, or if it was really the marketing that just really made people like have a terrible reception.
The 2004 mind.
I don't know. There was a lot of good movies in 2004, so I don't think it's that. I think it was the marketing that made people think this was something different.
Oh yeah, it's deceptive as hell.
Okay, all right. Let's get back on track because I have a lot to say about what I think the meta narrative is.
We're gonna put a pin in it, okay? Put a pin in it. But let's go through Ivy's journey because this is our plot. This is what's gonna carry us home.
So Kitty is like, I love Lucius. He's so hunky. He's so handsome.
Yeah, he's a himbo.
He is hot.
He is. He is. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to him. And it's such a funny scene where she's like confessing her love to Lucius.
Yeah, she gushes.
Yeah,
he's just staring at her like he doesn't say anything, and then it just hard cuts to her sobbing.
No, like hard crying. Ugly crying into a pillow.
And she's being consoled by her sister Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think was like the perfect way to introduce her character because we haven't seen Ivy before this part.
Yeah.
And it immediately tells us that she's very, nurturing and caring. She's an empath, one might say.
Oh.
No, she's great. And then we also learn that she's blind. She was born blind or developed blindness. I think is
developed cataracts.
Yeah, exactly. And then we follow her for a bit, and we see her scolding Noah, played by Adrian Brody, for hitting some kids. He's
supposedly Hayden Christensen was also like theorized for this role. Like they wanted to cast him.
That would have been kind of crazy.
Yeah. I think Hayden Christensen would have been a better actor. Personally,
really,
I'm gonna say it. I'm Tropic Thunder, like explicitly made fun of actors that like they were making fun of Adrian Brody.
But he doesn't go full though. I don't think he does.
I don't. It's not that. It's just I
get what you mean though. I get what you mean.
Watching it, I just feel a little uncomfortable, and it's like I don't know who you cast in the role, but maybe someone that like comes off a little more childish than Adrian Brody. Adrian Brody is a older looking person, which like I think they're also going for that. They're trying to show that like it's not always like childish looking people or children that act this way. Like it's also adults, but like. I don't know. I think Hayden Christensen would have been a much better choice. It was
a different time. It was 2004.
Like it's Eating Grape, where they just got like was Leo was like 20 or something, but boyish.
Old?
He's the brother in.
Yeah, no, I know. I didn't know he was that old in that movie. Though.
Oh, he's young.
Yeah, but he comes off.
I don't know if he's that's his age.
Yeah,
but Adrian Brody is like walking off of The Pianist, where he won. Best actor, best performance.
That's it. That's it right there. How do you get an Oscar and then go for that? No. That's weird.
He was probably just like, it's M. Night Shyamalan. I have to do this.
Regardless, all that being said, if there's one last Adrian Brody fan on this earth, it's me. I'm gonna say it. Like
I love it.
Like I love Adrian Brody. Holy moly! But
The Pianist.
Yeah, again, I don't love him for the role. I think it could have gone to other people who could have I don't know.
Should have gone to Jack Black or something.
Yeah. Well, I said yes to just be agreeing with you, but I don't agree. I don't think Jack Black would have been better. Oh my god. Like Shallow Hal to this. Like imagine the career though.
He might not have never been ever been Poe or Claptrap if
no
he was in this role.
Anyways, we meet Noah and Ivy.
And he's roughhousing and then she scolds him.
It's very if we didn't make it clear, it's very apparent that Noah has mental disability.
I'm gonna self-report. I wasn't catching on it. I thought he was like an ADHD boy, and I was really fucking annoyed.
No, he was definitely a lot more ill than that.
Yeah, no, I think I understand. I think the overacting, because I agree with you, Trevor. I think he went a little Tropic Thunder there. I think the
Yeah.
overacting made me go, I'm like, oh, he's just like a child acting adult. Like he's just trying to be silly and goofy.
And I was like, I was watching it with my girlfriend, and I was like, why is he doing this? Like, he should know better. And then Alex was like, he's not right in the head. And I was like, yes, you are right. And that completely explains it. However, I don't know why I'm asking that question. Like, if that's the case. Anyways.
Yes.
It was a safer bet if Noah was like, oh, he was kicked in the head by like a horse.
Or like just like
explanation.
just someone younger, I think. Just in general.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that.
And again, it's not a critique of Adrian Brody's acting. I mean, it is. But it's just like, I don't know. It's
some people just aren't right for the role. Like, no, I get that.
yeah. And again,
I do think it's like it's not a situation where it's like no one but him could do it. Like, I don't find a lot of issue with his performance. I mean,
no, at the end of the day, it doesn't impact the movie very much. It's just something I wanted to mention.
It sticks out.
It does stick out. It does.
Yeah. Regardless, it's a great movie, and he does great.
Christian, can you tell us about the berries he picks?
So they run off and they're like, oh, I'll race you. Like they're friends. They're friendly with each, or Ivy's friendly with him. And they run off.
Little Bo Peep looking ass.
And they meet their moody friend Lucius in a little private part of
at the Standing Rock.
Yeah. The Standing Rock near the border. And they're hanging out, and we get some nice little fourth kind of romantic kind of dialogue with Ivy and Lucius. Ivy more so than Lucius. He doesn't really talk, but Ivy definitely seems interested in him. She says something. I'm gonna like totally misquote it here, but she says something to the effect of like, I don't know if
I know it's you. You have a specific color.
Yeah. I see your color. She says that everybody has one.
But then she also says something, or basically implies that like she knows Lucius kind of likes her because it's like he used to hold her hand and guide her around, and then eventually
they have history. They have history in terms of just growing up because they're
like the Avatar.
They're around the same age, and they grew up together, and they were definitely fancy to each other when they were younger.
Their relationship was innocent. He was purely out to help until it no longer was.
Until
exactly.
Until the innocence left the relationship.
That's fucking sick. My man shows restraint.
But then we see Noah has berries of the bad color, aka just red poison berry. And Lucius is like, "Where'd you get this?"
That's the bad color.
Noah shows him that he's been going out past the perimeter and coming back.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Whoa, like the creature, like they're not doing anything.
They're not hurting him.
And then we hard cut to Lucius giving another one of his little
attempt number 2.
He's like he totally narcs on his friend Noah.
Yeah, he narcs on Noah, which isn't great.
You got berries of the bad color, but this proves that I believe that because of his innocence, that the creatures did not see him as a threat. Therefore, if I go out, I'm innocent. I'm not trying to cause harm. Like, they're not gonna hurt me.
His innocence.
I'm innocent. I'm innocent. We can go out and get the medicine we need. So he's trying to make his case. He's trying to make his case.
Like, I have good intentions. They know I have good. They'll sense it. They'll smell it.
If I was an elder, I'd be like, yeah,
sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you were an elder, no, you would be like, you'd make some bullshit up.
Yeah.
Well, they do make up some bullshit because they
do.
They don't really like give him an answer. I don't think. But shortly after this is when, at night, the creatures they attack, and there's creature sightings, and everyone's freaking out in the village, and
it's apparent that the creatures wear red cloaks.
Yes,
of the bad color.
Of the bad
red cloaks. They look really cool. The costume design in this movie is so good.
Oh, it's so sick.
Yeah, the creature design is
so
really cool. You get to see it, which is cool, and it's cool.
You get like Disturbed Little Red Riding Hood versus Morton Salt Girl.
Yes. with like porcupine
Disturbed
quills.
Little Red Riding Hood. That's great.
Another thing to point out, the villagers and like the watchtowers when they're near the border, they are required to wear yellow cloaks.
The safe color, the safe color.
Which also I like. Another aspect I like about this movie is that we don't get any explanation why, which kind of relates, I think, to like how like the young villagers are raised to like learn like red is bad, yellow is good. Like don't quite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It kind of puts us in their shoes a little bit.
Red and yellow kill the fellow.
But this scene is so, I don't know. I want to hear everyone's opinions on this scene. The scene in which everyone's running around trying to get
Oh, and she's reaching out her hand.
and she's reaching out her hand because she's like, I know Lucius is still out there. Like he needs to get inside, and it's shot so beautifully, at least in my opinion.
Very suspenseful.
Very
tense scene.
Because you see her reaching out because she's blind, she can't see anything, and then in like the foreground, or the background, what have you, you see like the
just red
fuzzy outline of the red, like kind of getting closer.
Yeah,
and the violin music is building, and it's so tense.
Adrian Brody's going nuts. Like, he's excited.
Very, very early on in the movie, they do like the signs alien thing, but then they like also move the camera with it. So you never get like a clear view of it when you first see it. And it was very well done.
Yeah. Oh,
that was the best shot of the movie for me. I was like, holy moly.
And then just as the thing's about to grab her, Joaquin Phoenix grabs her hand and the music swells and they run inside to safety. And like that to me was the moment where it's like where he like declares his love for her.
Yeah. I thought it was cute. I liked it.
Because we have that whole thing like, you don't touch me anymore, like you don't help me or whatever, like because you're like trying to like hide your feelings or whatever.
And the moment it mattered most, he was there.
He was there and he let her inside, and it's like, oh, I don't know. I just love that part so much.
No, I think it was shot well, and like you said, and just like it was done well. It was suspenseful, but then like you get like a kind of lovey-dovey payoff, which is like all the more like whipped cream on like a good payoff,
Well, and when they hide, they're under the floorboards, and you hear like banging and like moving around and like pig snorts.
Yeah.
And like the music's still going, and like they're hiding with like children they're watching, and like Ivy's sister.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a tense moment. You're like, holy shit.
Now, Aref, what did you think of this sequence? Because
shit on it, please.
I actually loved it. I thought it was really good. I just wish I thought that it were actual creatures.
Here's my question, Aref, because you clocked the twist that it was. Did you clock the twist that it was modern day at that point?
I clocked the twist. Yeah, I clocked the twist that it was modern day for a multitude of factors. But
what about
did you clock the creatures that they were?
I don't think we brought that up.
No, I didn't clock that it was like the elders that were dressing up as the creatures. Spoiler alert. But I knew that the creatures were not any kind of like actual threatening entity. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get vibes that it's like Satan or like, supernatural
or
anything.
Hurt.
Right. You get more vibes that like it's a weird creature that could be, or it's like people that are just messing with the villagers. Or it's like a village outside the village. I don't know. Like that's kind of like that's the vibes you get. You don't get any vibes that like it like provides any more threat than like when it's on screen.
Yeah.
When it's not on screen, I should say. What were they gonna do if they got to Bryce Dallas Howard? Were they gonna kill her?
That's true.
Why didn't they see Joaquin Phoenix on the side, just like strolling up?
They are wearing those big hoods. It probably blocks their.
Well, they have masks and stuff too.
That's true. That's true.
Their peripheral, if you will. No, that whole sequence I think is it's so beautifully shot.
Yeah.
The Roger Deakins cinematography is gorgeous. It's a great scene, and that is kind of the moment that sort of convinces Joaquin Phoenix to kind of give up on going out, at least for now. I think. And then there's some other stuff that we can kind of gloss over. Kitty gets married to. Oh, that's right. Kitty gets married to another guy, so she's like
Yeah.
over Lucius or whatever. And then that leads to
Gregory.
Gregory.
The Harry
Oh,
Potter
yeah,
wedding.
that's his name for the
Yeah.
Harry Potter wedding.
It was kind of Harry Potter wedding.
It was very Harry Potter court. But that leads to
That was the skinned animals, right? All the skinned
that
animals.
was where there's more skinned animals and
Yeah.
like there's more fear, and that's also an important part because there's skinned animals and we see Walker and Sigourney Weaver talking, and they don't seem to really know
Yeah, what's happening?
what's happening.
Yeah,
They
what
don't
that's about.
what that's about, and which becomes more interesting later on because obviously we know that the elders are behind
They're
it.
in on it. The creature part.
So they don't even know who's doing this, and they kind of imply that like we'll figure out who's doing this, later.
Deal with it later.
We'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
But then so after they're married and everything, that kind of leaves Lucius and Ivy to kind of confront their feelings for each other. And I think what is probably I don't know if it's my favorite scene in the movie when they're on the porch.
Ivy hears a noise outside in the middle of the night. Foggy as hell.
Yeah. Oh, it looks so good when it's like foggy and everything.
Yeah.
And then Lucius is on her porch. And they have a little conversation, and she basically says like why don't you why don't you say something, like why don't you speak to me or whatever, like I'm always talking. And then he kind of goes off like everyone's always saying like why don't you talk, like what if I just have nothing to say or whatever. And she also says something like will we dance on our wedding, like kind of like
Oh yeah.
being
Oh, she's landing on thick.
That was a
Oh,
really
she's
cute
thirsty.
scene, and like it's like she genuinely asks him because he's so kind of like just emotionally blunt.
Which
like,
she's trying to get with this fucking dude before she asks her sister, who he rejected.
They talk about it. They figure it out.
After.
Listen, it was heat of the moment. It's middle of the night. I'm not gonna wake my sister up to ask for your blessing.
that was, I mean, it was a cute little thing where she was like worried about their relationship, and he was like, "Nah, baby, I'm all in."
Yeah, it's the moment where he kind of reassures her that like I do love you, and
like why do you think I'm out here right now when there are monsters out every night?
Yeah.
Like
dude, like come on.
Like sometimes I don't know what to say because I can't think in my right head because I'm worried about what's going to happen to you because I love you so much. And it's such a, I don't know. I love this scene so much. And I also noticed on this second watch that the way that the camera is focused on them, because it's like a really up close shot of the two of them facing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Dallas Howard is like, you can tell she's like looking past him.
Yeah.
Too, which I thought was it was a nice detail. Like and like it almost looks like they're on different like dimensions. I don't
wavelengths.
Yeah. It kind of just it reminds you like, oh yeah, she's
they're like weirdly both looking past each other, but like he's almost like looking toward a future her in a way.
Yeah.
He's talking about like,
monsters. He's looking out for monsters.
Yeah.
Or elders who aren't coming because it's late at night.
Yeah.
There's no one to scare.
But they resolve to get married, and they smooch, and it's very sweet.
They smooch.
And then
spoiler alert, they kiss.
They kiss. This is one of those movies, folks.
Trigger warning. The kiss adverse.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, just if anyone
ask your parents.
It's not cool with affection. You should probably skip a little ways.
So I don't know if it's I don't think it's like the next day, but maybe it's like a couple days. Like word gets around that Ivy and Lucius are gonna get married.
Honestly, with the size of the village, it's probably that morning.
True.
A few
True.
hours later.
Yeah, like everyone. I think there's maybe 30, and that's
20,
generous.
30.
I want to say it's like maybe like closer to a 23.
I would say at maximum 35. At maximum.
Maximum. That's a generous guess.
That's true. I'm overestimating how
it's really small. It's
really, it's like
word travels
like
fast.
If one person yelled it, the whole community would know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we get a scene that everyone's like, oh, they're gonna get married, blah, blah, blah. And we see Ivy like Adam said talking to Kitty, like, oh, I'm gonna get married, it's okay, oh, I love you. And then we get a scene where Noah comes to Lucius.
Air horns play right now because this scene is also another masterfully done scene.
So it's
this is my top 2 scene.
I hated it.
You hated it.
Oh my God.
I liked it a lot.
Okay, hold on. Wait, I'm gonna predict. I think I know why Aref didn't like this scene.
Tell the audience what the scene is.
It's okay. So
just like kind of like try to close your eyes unless you're driving. Close your eyes and imagine. Well, don't do too good of a job explaining.
Even if you're driving, don't be selfish.
Yeah. Imagine a scene where
Noah comes to talk to Lucius or whatever, and
I believe he was there to talk.
Yeah, well, Lucius,
it's business.
And he's like, oh, you heard about me and Ivy, and I know you fancy her or whatever, because Noah kind of has like, I guess, a thing for Ivy.
The hots for her, yeah.
And without a word, Noah just stabs Lucius.
And they do it in this way where it's like you get a close-up of Noah and a close-up of Lucius, and then they're exchanging lines, but then like all of a sudden it just gets silent. Like there's no music, and the music isn't swelling either, or like getting suspenseful. There's nothing. And then it's just like Joaquin Phoenix, and then I think it's just like him gasping, and he goes like Noah, or like says his name or whatever, and then like Noah's, and then it goes back to Adrian Brody, and then Adrian Brody starts crying, and it's like, oh my God, it's
collapses, and then you see Noah kind of like he doesn't really know what to do, and then he goes back and he just like stabs him more, and then he leaves. Now, Aref, why didn't you like this scene?
A guess. You said you wanted to guess. You said you wanted to guess.
My guess is that you were thinking, why isn't Joaquin Phoenix yelling for help?
No, I hated the way it was shot.
You really didn't like it?
No, I thought it was terrible. So I thought Noah coming up was cool. I thought it was going to be a sweet moment, and then it goes to the fucking bonk cam where it's a wide angle shot of the back of fucking Joaquin Phoenix's head. That is, I'm going to kill you. 100% of movies.
Okay. But here's my thing. Regardless of that, like I kind of had an idea, like going into the scene, like, okay, no, I think Noah is going into this. Like, you never get Noah and Joaquin Phoenix alone in the movie. Noah and Lucius. You never get Noah and Lucius alone in the movie at all. And this is the only moment that they get alone. And like all the times they've been together, it's always been like reprimanding Noah. So it's like, what happens when Noah's by himself with Lucius? And I kind of like thought about that going into the scene. And I was like, I think there's only one way this is going. Like, I kind of knew, but like, I don't know. I still thought it was like impressive.
I do get that. I think at that sense, it's like predictable. Like to Aref's credit, like it doesn't.
Well, it's not even predictable. I think the fact that they use the murder cam and it's there for a good like 6 seconds cuts the tension. Like it just like removes it. So by the time he gets stabbed, because it sits on that shot for a while.
It's true.
So by the time he gets stabbed, I'm like, okay, like I've accepted this, and it's taking the emotional weight out of it for me.
I will say, I think I did tell Alex, like while we were watching, I was like, did he just get stabbed before he actually got stabbed?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I liked it.
And then post that, I liked the scene because I think Adrian Brody did a really good job with the emotion for Noah. I thought that was really cool.
I think so.
That was great, but this is also, and I don't mean to yap. This is also a turning point for when I wholeheartedly I'm like, okay, I no longer like this movie. Not even because I predicted the twist,
okay,
but because I kind of understood at this point that this is a romance movie, and then by doing this, you're kind of cutting out the romance.
Yeah,
and because I really enjoyed the interaction between Joaquin Phoenix and Bryce, and this prevents that. But
I think he was trying to do that.
But
because I think it can be, there's still themes of love throughout. But I get what you mean.
No, I get what you mean. That's what you liked about the movie. You're taking it away now. Now you're only going to this part, which isn't as strong.
I don't. Yeah, I think at this point it diverges into too many paths, and everything becomes kind of weak.
Noah stabs Lucius.
Quick thing.
Then the next part, like what? Sorry, Christian.
Just a quick thing about this
Yeah.
about this scene. I don't know if anyone looked this up or knows any little trivia about this part. This movie is PG-13, and it got an R rating initially because of that scene where he got stabbed, because there was a sound effect of the knife.
Oh, interesting.
And so they took it out, and that was all I needed for a PG-13.
That's so funny because you get like a times 10 scene like with that.
I think making it quiet is better.
Yeah.
Sound.
It would be way worse with the sound.
Anyway, continue.
So Noah stabs Lucius. Then you get like kind of like, I don't want to say the back half because it's really like the back third of the movie. But you like, we focused on Ivy, and it's apparent to her that her mission now is, I need to, or somebody needs to go into the town and get the medicine to help Lucius. Because at the moment, Lucius is still living. And they put Noah in the quiet room. And I don't think we explained the quiet room, but the quiet room isn't really even touched on at all. It's just like a room where I think Noah has to be quiet. And somebody like, yeah, it's like if Noah's really bad, they put Noah in there and then they like force him to be quiet.
They should just
so they put him in there when he really gets in trouble.
Yeah.
And
mind you, a room in which the floorboards can be easily peeled up.
Yeah. We'll get there. Then we focus on Ivy, and her mission is now, I gotta go into the town and get the medicine and the things that will like help, fix Lucius. This is the part of the movie that I'm kind of like, I just don't know how to take, because Walker, who is her dad, comes to the conclusion that like, because he's a council member, he cannot go himself, but he wants to save the would-to-be husband of his daughter. But everyone on the council's like, you can't do that, but somebody else could. And the only other person willing seems to be Ivy. So that's kind of how it concludes to her going out into the woods and going into the towns. Like, that's what happens in the movie.
Yeah, and this whole sequence, I think this whole part, I think, is probably, at least in my opinion, I think like one of the weaker aspects, because it's really just a lot of explaining the twist.
But it's also not only that, but like you also have to carry the suspension of disbelief. And like it's a movie, I get it. I'm all for a movie, and like you got it, and someone maybe needs to explain to me, maybe I'm stupid for like why I don't get it and like it, because it seems just so like, well, this is stupid. But like a blind woman walking through the woods to get to a town.
Well, the plan was okay. The plan was to have her guides with her, but they chickened out and left her.
Yeah, they're too scared.
All right, here comes expose guy. If she goes, right, she can't without a doubt confirm that there was no creatures coming back. So if she goes to the town, gets medicine, and comes back, she can't say without a doubt that there's no creatures.
Oh, so that's why everyone was like, she has to be the person to go, because she is blind.
Exactly.
And she will believe her anyway.
And it fits into the narrative of them detecting innocence and lack of threat.
And you know what? And that explains the end.
Yeah.
Well, which will, I mean, like, so okay. In Ivy's journey through the woods.
Well, first Walker reveals to her and then the audience that the creatures are fake.
The creatures are fake.
First of the council of Creed. Yeah. That's first reveal.
And then yeah, like she goes through the woods.
She goes through the woods.
Her escorts fucking cowered out.
Yeah,
she tries.
One of the escorts was her brother-in-law, right?
Yes.
Mind you, I don't even think
they
had to go. Mind you, I think they only had to get her to the road too. I don't even think they had to get her through the whole thing. I think at the road they were supposed to wait for her,
because they couldn't go through the road, because then they would see that it's
so like they weren't even supposed to go the whole way.
Yeah,
nope, just to the creek, and then she would follow the noise.
So they chicken out. On her way through the woods, she gets caught in the sinkhole, which is like super unfortunate, but she gets her way out because she's a boss bitch, and she's Bryce Dallas Howard, and she's amazing.
Ivy is fucking cool, by the way.
She's great.
Yeah,
she's great.
The characterization of Ivy and whatever his fucking name is, Joaquin
Joaquin
Phoenix. Yeah,
Lucius.
Lucius is great. I don't have any complaints about that. Like they're the movie's worth the watch, if only just to see them.
So then Ivy gets attacked by a creature, and it's like it's a creature. It's like it's in the red cloak. It looks freaking weird. It's a creature.
Cool. Take that back. Looks cool.
It does look cool. No. It's a creature and it looks weird, but like you're seeing it. Like it's in broad daylight. You are seeing the creature.
And it's at this point too that you're like, who is it then?
Holy fuck, are these things real?
Here's my thing, and this might be Trevor being stupid, but I want to sit on this for a second with you fellas. Okay. I said something while watching this movie with my girlfriend to her. A speculation that obviously wasn't correct, but because this is also the only time that Ivy's actually been alone in a scene, I was wondering if perhaps what we were actually seeing was not what was actually being shown because she is blind.
Oh,
Bias.
Imagining.
I big brained the scene myself and was like, is she seeing a pig, but she's like hearing it? And it's actually not a creature. Obviously, I was completely wrong. That is not what happened.
I like that idea though.
It had me like that though.
The idea, but then until you see Adrian Brody in the bottom of it,
it ends up being Noah. Noah, she fools the creature into falling into the pit that she herself fell into, and it's revealed that it's Noah, Adrian Brody, and he dies because he like bleeds out from like broken legs.
Did Sigourney Weaver command a bunch of like fucking like minor felons to go dig holes in the forest? Why was that there?
I
genuinely think it's a trap.
Yeah, just to catch people.
That was a Holes reference, by the way.
Oh, you're so funny.
Anyways, but yes, why was it there? I was confused the whole time. I was like, why is there a giant hole?
It wasn't a. I think it was just like a sinkhole. I think the ground just gave.
It seemed like a sinkhole, but I don't know. It was
dug out.
It was dug. It was like a
round. I mean,
it was a cylindrical hole. Yeah.
Well, maybe the elders did it as like in case anyone did venture out against.
That's kind of what I thought.
The people who sneak out of the village and people who sneak into the reserve.
Yeah. Totally, yeah,
because it's pretty far out there.
So it'll be like the last like source of like help. Oh, you fell into a monster egg hole, but like maybe they didn't. I don't know. Because okay, so and so let's just get to the end of the movie. So Ivy inadvertently kills Noah, which is like kind of tragic because she doesn't know it's Noah. Like he doesn't like say anything. He's just like grunting the whole time because he's in the costume. It's huge, by the way. I mean, like in that thing, you're probably sweating. You probably can't really see that well. So like I don't blame Noah for like whatever. Which like, and it is unfortunate that like he does attack her, whether it be out of whatever. We'll get there. Ivy gets to the edge of the woods, and then she goes over this little like fence, and then like it's revealed that it's the modern day 2004. Yeah. She gets the medicine from the guy, like we talked about earlier, and then she goes.
It's intercut with the elders opening up their boxes, and we see photos of them, and they were all part of a self-help like counseling group decades ago.
Yep.
And they Walker or whatever, they established the place as kind of like they wanted to get, they thought the world was so evil and there was so full of violence that they just wanted to escape into a world of the past where they didn't have to worry about modern the ills of the modern world.
Yeah.
Greed and such.
Exactly. Yeah, it's an interesting like way to explain, I think, like why they set it up, especially how it ties into, I think, like the themes of the movie, and seeing how they kind of become a twisted mirror of what they were trying to escape from. Like they were so sick of a world that used fear and violence to control people that they inevitably ended up using fear and violence to keep their own people in line. Like they couldn't escape it. And I think that's just I love it.
I think you missed a point in the shack. When they pull up that news, or when they pull up into the shack, the main guy, right? Or the she talks to a sheriff guy. Ivy even says she's a lot nicer than she expects, which is kind of a play on the whole innocence thing. Because the whole point of this, what's the word, compound, is that it's trying to maintain innocence and purity and niceness. And the first person she interacts with in the outside world is just 100% there to help her without any judgment and is not going to snitch on her.
Yeah, that is really cool.
So that was really cool. But not only that, but they go into the shack where M. Night Shyamalan's sitting there out there with his feet up reading a newspaper. If you read the headlines, every single one of those things is person missing, someone's dead, someone got murdered. Yeah, it's like a horrible events. I thought that was I thought that was a cute little.
I was trying to pause. I paused it because I was trying to see if any were like Easter eggs about his other movies, but they weren't. It was just like horrible.
Local man finds out he's Ghost.
Well, I mean, and then like she grabs the medicine, she goes home, and like really, it's you're left with she goes home with the ability to save, her love, Lucius. With the medicine that she got. So, like, it's assumed that he'll make it. The Council of Elders, they all decide that they're just going to sweep the Noah thing under the rug and just, like, keep on living and just pretend that Noah got, like, hit by monsters. Yeah, and keep perpetuating, which is very interesting.
Because also they can use Ivy's account of, like, I encountered something out there,
And that's the end of the movie. But I do want to circle back. Well, sorry.
I don't know if you were about to do this, but
no, you could
go. Because I think Aref will have strong opinions about this. How Noah got the costume?
Oh my god, this is such a this is not like that big, not too big of a deal in the long run. I just think it was really stupid storytelling.
Yeah, we do need to circle back to this. So they put Noah in the quiet room, and there's a shackle with like a chair, and like. Yeah. Ivy tells Noah when she goes on her quest, like, I'll be gone, don't worry about me, it's okay. And then he freaks out because she leaves, which like was a kind of not great idea to do.
You might as well just not have told him.
Yeah, he starts freaking out. And we discover after, we find out that Noah is the creature. And we find out Noah is the creature because like you see an intercut of Noah ripping up the floorboards, finding a creature costume in the quiet room, donning it, and then going on his, whatever spree he wanted to go on because after he killed, or after he stabbed Lucius, so then he wants to attack Ivy, which like to me doesn't make sense. Like it just as from a character's perspective, like I think at the end of the day, I don't think he would ever have attacked.
I think he just meant to scare her, like to play around in his own twisted way. I think that was all it was. I don't think he was
role playing.
Yeah, you think so? I wasn't sure.
Because earlier in the movie, we see him take a frog and like put it in her hand. Like he's always kind of fucking with her because she's blind.
That is true.
He's kind of a dick.
He whips people with sticks.
But like it is like established that like he wouldn't, I don't know, kind of hurt her. But yeah, you're right. I guess like it is like he was just probably trying to play with her. But like
it's his way of playing that went too far, kind of.
The issue Aref has, and Aref, take us away here. Like introduce us to the issue you got with all that.
Okay. So they go into the quiet room after some time, and they notice that oh my gosh, Noah's not there, and holy shit, he dug into the floorboards where we consequentially hide one of the costumes. What the fuck are we doing, dude? We have a guy with an intellectual disability who has a habit of like getting into shenanigans and going into places where he shouldn't go.
He loves the monsters. It's like throughout, he's very excited when they show up.
Yeah,
he does.
So I it's just like it's a plot driver that, in my opinion, was done lazily because they couldn't figure out a way to get Noah in a suit other than that.
I don't think it's out of the question that like the quiet place would have been a good, like, or the quiet room would have been a good place to hide a costume because they're probably not like I don't know, they're probably like we're not going to have Noah and a creature thing happen at the same time.
Now here's my interpretation because I look at it a little differently, and I feel like it probably leans toward it was just a place that they were hiding it for sure.
Totally.
Especially because of the very 80-yard line that the guy, he's like, he must have found a thing in the floorboards, or he says something like that.
Yeah.
Despair.
But the way that I saw that scene was that maybe, like, Noah stole a costume a long time ago and was hiding it. He was hiding it there
Mm.
because they do point out that there are animal bones under there, which I think
Oh.
tells us that he was the one killing the animals.
Yeah, well, it is. I think it. I think when the animals were skinned, I did know it was him, which is like a crazy amount of animals to skin.
And they do say that like there's like they're like what there's marks on the wall and they're so high, like who could have done this? Like he's a pretty tall dude. The way that I was seeing it was that Adrian Brody just stole one of those things and was just fucking around the whole time.
So yeah, Noah being the creature, because the creature showed up multiple times and none of the elders knew who it was. So him being the creature the entire time actually would explain it, and that would change my perception on it.
They do show up when Noah's there, and he's hella hyped in the cubbyhole.
Oh, okay.
For sure. But I definitely see a few times.
It was. I think his parents actually, because he's with the other family, and his parents have suits.
But there is a scene where Lucius, he's like painting the yellow on the poles or whatever. Remember?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He like testing the boundaries. He walks forward and he finds some of the berries and he looks over and he sees a creature kind of moving through the brush or whatever. I don't think that would be one of the elders.
That would be Noah. You're thinking?
I think that because why would an elder just be out there for?
But then my thing goes back to like, why make the character have a disability?
That's exactly my complaint.
That's my whole thing. It doesn't, like, if you're going for childish, like the innocence of childhood and preserving innocence with the monster inside, why make your character disabled?
Okay.
Like developmentally, like it doesn't translate well now, and maybe it's just an oversight for the time. I don't know.
I'm gonna pause you for a second. Are we
Go.
ready to move into meta commentary?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about the meta commentary.
We talked about the plot, so yeah.
Yeah, we talked about.
Okay.
That's the movie.
Okay, so I just want to jump into this. So the whole time we're talking about innocence, preserving innocence, we don't want the influences of the outside world, the violence to come harm us. So we no longer use dollars, and we're a socialist commune. The internet's gone. Anyways, why? And this is my issue with it. Why make the special needs person the one to commit the crime, to commit the murder?
That's what I'm saying.
I think that's such a huge flub.
The depiction of anyone with a developmental disability in a movie before like 2000, sex is a problem. Not even that probably, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's bound to be issues, and it's definitely not perfect.
Before the woke agenda came about.
Instead of like saying he just has a disability, you could have just did, he was kicked in the head by a horse.
I wonder if it's like also like more. I wonder if it's like more of a thing of like maybe the script had it more written that like he was supposed to act childish and like just translated that to just having a disability, if that makes sense.
Maybe
like that could be it.
He method acted his way through it.
I don't know. So the way that I kind of interpret it is that the elders set up this whole thing to escape the violence and the horrible atrocities of the world because they had all these traumatic things happen, these kind of
but you can never truly escape it.
You can never truly escape it. And all of their traumas kind of stem from random acts of violence or robberies, things that make tangible sense where people do things from, an evil kind of sense of morality, right? Mm-hmm. Or bad, generally bad. Yeah. And again, it probably isn't the best way to present it, obviously. But as it's presented in the film, I think the reason Noah is the one to commit the crime is because he doesn't commit the crime out of I want to kill you for monetary gain or whatever. Like he does it because he's just innocently jealous of him and he does it out of a weird sense of like love, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So it kind of shatters the whole elders like position of like you can't just shut out the world from violence. Like violence can come from all forms.
It's spontaneous at times.
You can't just escape it.
But
You
then,
know?
like, why isn't the movie about the elders then? You know, that's another
I feel like
thing.
it kind of is. I feel like it kind of is about
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, it kind of is.
This is where I start to really complain about the directionality of this movie, is because if it was pure, because I also came to that conclusion that it was likely because they're trying to show that there's innate violence within human nature. Why would they pull it in so many directions where you have the elders and the commune being like a separation, but also the romance, but also Noah? Like, there's a lot of exploration that I feel like needs to be done in each one of these areas to make the movie strong.
Yeah, that's fair. I get that.
So I'm just left going, okay, they just made Noah they just made Noah kill him because he's just quote unquote jealous, which is kind of a bad caricature of a person with developmental disorder. And this obviously hits a little close to home. Also, we're trying to show that love conquers all and that human nature prevails, and there is good in human nature, as shown with Ivy traveling blind across this whole way. But also, we're not shown the immense amount of love that we're supposed to be shown. It's just her traveling and coming back. But also, we're supposed to show like the fear of humans, but that's also not depicted.
It's kind of pulled lightly in a bunch of different directions, but doesn't go a clearer direction.
Well, because
Yeah.
like it's also so crazy that like the blind person in the movie doesn't figure out the bigger like stuff at all, which is like totally the kind of like thing that a movie like this would do, right? Is like, oh, the blind character is going to be the one to find out the secrets, which like I guess she finds out the biggest secret in the end, but like I don't know,
No,
like
she doesn't. She believes in the monsters at the end.
yeah, like but I mean like she knows that there's people outside, which is
Yeah,
like
but
huge.
they always knew that. She's probably just going to come back and say that people in the towns are nice.
So my point proven. I mean, like she doesn't really
Because
she
she does
gains the
prefer-
love, which is good. And maybe we need to talk about this. Maybe this is where we're going to here is the whole that thing about her seeing color, but never telling us or Lucius, like us, the audience, or Lucius, that what Lucius's color is.
Yeah, this movie actually invented the slang aura.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. Maybe
I hear
that's something because like it's also like I think as you're going through the movie, it is a little bit of tests of like what kind of person is Lucius? Like, could he be a violent person? Like, like because he like is like an introvert, he's quiet, he doesn't talk. Maybe he gives off those vibes. I don't. Maybe they were trying to convey that. We see through his actions, not his words, that he loves Ivy and that like more than anything he cares about her. So I don't know.
But like, I don't think that's a good enough reason. Love could be selfish. It could be purely sexual. I mean, like he says it's not, but how much of that is teaching? I mean, like, uh, this is a big gripe I have with this movie is the aura. The aura isn't explained well at all. She doesn't see the aura of Noah when he comes in the fucking beast costume, which could be
True.
intentional, but it's never
Yeah.
touched on. And
Right.
she's and it goes to this whole aura thing, and I think it's cool. I think it's really cool, specifically when she's interacting with Lucius, because Lucius, she can't see him besides his color. He also doesn't talk, but she knows innately that he has good in him, right? And that's a cool plot point if you dig into it and if you explore that more. But it's not explored more.
But then I mean, like, but Aref, come on. Bad stabs good. Good is on the verge of dying, and the blind woman saves good in the end. And good prevails no matter what.
Sure.
Maybe? Maybe?
Sorry,
Right?
I have like I'm very opinion.
I think we could all write a dissertation on it. We should do it.
You picked a hell of a 10th movie, Ryan, I gotta say.
Dude, yeah, honestly. Like I feel like we could keep going, but maybe we should probably wrap it up here.
I think we should. I've said my piece. I've said my piece, and before I go too negative and before I give my final review, I do want to say this movie's worth to watch. It is an enjoyable thing to watch.
Yeah.
And
To
there's
watch it from your own
plenty of
opinion.
the performances are excellent. The way it's shot is excellent, except for that one bonk shot that I hate. The romance is excellent. I just don't think it explores things as far as it should, and it opts for Ivy running in the forest for like a long time.
That sequence is quite long.
Yeah.
Trevor, you go first.
Yeah, lead off.
Oh man, all right. Yeah, I mean, this discussion has definitely opened my eyes a little bit and maybe noticed a lot of things I didn't notice before. Got me to, kind of like think about the movie in ways I didn't before. Also maybe like, double check myself and like see like if I was like I said about the whole scene where like she's being, through the woods and I was like, am I big braining this? I like this movie. I think as said, it's a great movie. It's worth the watch. There's definitely like suspense if you don't quite know going into it. Like there's a little bit of like, you're gonna hold your breath a little bit, like if you get immersed. And I certainly did. And you'll care about the characters. Love the cinematography and music. So I mean, there's a lot to love here. Is it the perfect movie? No. Is it, the most rounded movie? No. But you get good worth, I'd say. You get a good time, no matter what, I think. I'm going to have to give this movie, we got to be a little polarizing. I'm going to give this movie a very, very a high to peak 6. Ryan, take it away.
I think this movie is the most, I don't want to say average movie, but it's not written the best because obviously there's just a bunch of holes to poke. But the movie's shot well, and I really like that the just kind of dumping all of the twists, like that it's modern day, that the monsters aren't real, into like intermittent cuts of the last 30 minutes where Ivy's just running around the woods. If this movie was any longer, I think it would get a little heavy. I'm going to give it a low 6, like 6.2. It's like a very average movie, and it's very decisive. Like, look at the conversation we had.
Okay, I'm gonna be Sir Yaps a lot here, just because I want to fit a lot of what I think.
The floor is yours.
I want to say I came into this discussion wanting to give it a 3. Okay, I came in a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. Came into the discussion wanting to give it a 3. You guys made very, very, very good points that I didn't realize fully coming into this, specifically about technicality, specifically about shots, romance sequences that I don't think I appreciated enough in the moment because I was taken back by the fact that I called the twist so early on. All in all, if I were to give a single complaint to this movie, and this is driven by the fact that I don't think anything is explored enough. When I go into Shyamalan movies, I want to leave the movie thinking about Trevor's email that he pulled up on the screen.
Sorry.
Going into Shyamalan movies, I want to leave the movie thinking about ethical or moral or societal questions that I haven't really thought about, whether it's nuanced or on the edge of reality and or whatnot. But I don't think this movie achieves that, and I think that's what takes me away from it, because Shyamalan is really good at posing ethical questions. Maybe it's just because I've explored this topic a lot. I didn't really find this movie profound or even as thought-provoking as I would have wanted. And because of that, I'm going to have to give it a 5. It's still good. It's still technically a masterpiece, and the performances are wonderful. But I can't get over the flaws, and I think it's just like a thorn in my side. It could just be a me problem, but I couldn't get over it.
Yeah, I feel like it's no secret here that I love this movie. I think the cast, I think it's just such like a lightning in a bottle cast and crew of like everyone on their A game.
So good. So good.
And I think like it does have issues, and to Aref's credit, I think Aref brought up some stuff that made me think of it and like, oh yeah, that could have been explored in a better light or a different way or whatever. But I think despite that, I think I still love this movie. I think it's still probably my second favorite Shyamalan movie behind Unbreakable. I think Unbreakable will always be my favorite. I think given the cinematography, I think the themes and performances are so good. I love like all the monologues in this movie. I really love the writing in this. I think this cast in particular really knew how to deliver Shyamalan dialogue, which I think can be
the dialogue.
Yeah, totally.
The dialogue was fucking awesome.
Really good.
It's really
so good. It's like
it's not like ye old time English that much,
intentional. It's intentional, by the way.
Intentional, but like I'm just saying that it's not hard to follow. Yeah, like you guys bring up a good point.
a lot of the monologues to me, they just come off like poetry. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love so much of it. And so for that reason, I think I will be giving this movie an 8.5.
It's almost as if like
Wow.
there's like that kind of sentiment in like the old world without the violence and all that kind of thing, you know. It's almost like kids these days are better off without them smartphones.
That's what I'm saying.
Telephones, the television.
This this episode was sponsored by guns.
I will say, I gave a movie a 6 that made me talk about it for an hour and a half. So I mean,
Yeah, if anything, watch this with friends. You'll have a fun conversation.
I think with this being our 10th episode and us giving, I think, really good scores on The Village, like that reflect our true actual feelings. Because like I give this like a 6 and a liked, you know, like liked and recommend. Like go watch it.
Yeah.
Fellas. I think we need to revisit the Da Vinci Code scores.
Are you sure?
No, we gave it like 7.
What? No,
And
we
this-
didn't.
I gave it the highest with the 6.
No, we didn't.
What did we give it?
You guys gave it
We gave it a
4.
5.
Oh, thank God! I only wanted to.
What did I give the Da Vinci? What did I give the Da Vinci Code? Okay, good. Okay, good.
Okay, good. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
I gave it a 7.
I was
for
about to
some
say,
reason.
Adam, you still, even despite all your rage at this film, you still liked it more than Smile and the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah,
This
because
movie
this
is
movie
better
is
than
well
both of those
made.
movies.
Yeah, like it's still like a well
I know.
crafted movie.
I'm joking.
I think the Smile was pretty good for what it was. Well, we want to thank you for another episode of the Track Cast. Thank you for turning into our 10th episode. We had a lot of fun with this one, and we hope you enjoyed. Please give us a like, rate, comment, fan mail, hit us up, whatever we have. Can you please just buzz it somehow? We would really appreciate that. Tune in next time for when we watch PokeRap featuring every Pokemon created.
No way.
Even the scrapped ones in the leaks.
Even the Ultra Beast?
Even the Gen Z ones.